Welcome into Cougar Tracks here on the KSL Sports YouTube. I am your BYU insider, Mitch Harper, for KSL Sports. BYU football fall camp is now in the rearview mirror. All eyes looking ahead to the upcoming season of Cougar football. A highly anticipated year. The 2026 season looks to be a special one, potentially, for BYU football as they enter the season as the 14th ranked team in the country in the preseason AP poll. But fall camp, it's another mile marker in the final countdown to another season of Cougar football, and we in the media had a chance to observe the final practice of fall camp. Let's unpack everything that took place at Camp Kalani in our top story of the day.
The top story of the day. The biggest story in the world of BYU sports right here on Cougar Tracks.
We had a really good sample size of observation on Tuesday during the final practice of fall camp. 33 minutes by my count. Look, it's not the days of old where we got to watch from wire to wire the entire practice like the Lavelle Edwards days. But 33 minutes, I'll take that. The usual allotted time is 20. So anything extra, happily take that. Appreciate that from BYU to give us the chance to really get a good insight into this team. And we got a good sample size. Got some first team snaps, second team, third team. Heard a new voice when they would announce a period. Period 16. Drive it. New little wrinkle when they would announce the periods. Thought that was kind of fun. Those deep cut things, you know me. I love that little tidbits, things that are different when I'm at the practice fields and watching from the balcony at the student-athlete building. But it was a fun observation period of BYU football. The final observation window before the games and the eye in the sky ultimately don't lie, and that's the actual games in the season. We'll see that coming up on Saturday, September 5th against Utah Tech. 6 o'clock kick. Extended pregame begins at noon on KSL NewsRadio. The game can be watched on ESPN+. One thing that really caught my attention from Tuesday, and it's been a theme during fall camp, the kickers have been really good. Matthias Dunn was spot on. Brody Laga, spot on. I think BYU's kickers are in a good place going into the season. Now, it's different in a practice field with a couple hundred people watching and 63,000 plus at Lavelle Edwards Stadium or 45,000 plus at Rice Eccles. Those are different situations, different pressure cookers that you just can't simulate in fall camp. And they might be great now. Got to make them in the games. But I think that we've seen the legs on both Dunn and Laga, and they look pretty good. I had Dunn for about a 52-yarder on Tuesday in one of his kicks. They were all perfect, each of the guys knocking down their kicks, and Laga, I think, is making a real case to maybe be the starter. But I think you got to go with Matthias Dunn. He's been a veteran in the program. Give Laga the chance to be right there, nipping at his heels. And he's a young guy. He's got 5 years of eligibility remaining. So I think the kicking situation feels like it's in good hands for this year and years to come as long as they continue to progress. But I think that's something I really take away from Tuesday and fall camp in general. I'll give you my post-fall camp projected depth chart coming up. We'll dive more into the specialists coming up a little bit later. You know me, I love the audio. Who's got the aux cable, the music blaring? We heard some Many Men, 50 Cent. It's like a fall camp staple. Many men. Many, 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 many men. 50 Cent. Also, some Little Durk was playing. Quite a bit of Little Durk. A lot of Little Durk, to be quite honest. If you go to the KSL Sports Instagram, I posted a carousel of highlights from the final day of fall camp on Tuesday. And the song that just was playing on loop, it felt like, was that Little Durk song that's attached to that post. So if you want to get a perspective on what that song was, you can go listen to the clean version up on the KSL Sports Instagram page. I also came away liking what I saw from Preston Rex and Journey Tonga. Aaron Roderick talked about Journey Tonga and the reserve running backs a couple days ago at fall camp, and he kind of chuckled when he brought up Journey Tonga, said, this Journey Tonga, he might factor in. Again, I always come away impressed in the small little windows that I see and the few snaps that I see of Journey Tonga. I can't help but think this guy might have a role. He might have a role on this team. I I think he makes the travel roster. And I think that you continue to develop him and think in this 5-5 world that we're in, there might be some sort of role. There might be some sort of package for him because he is shifty. I also thought Preston Rex, he's looking more and more like a running back. How he runs the ball, how he secures the football. He looks like a running back. A year ago at this time, there was maybe some ball security issues. He looked more like a gadget player. Now he's looking like a running back. And I think that's something of note when it comes to Preston Rex. Will Zundel, tight end, who you heard here on the podcast, Kevin Gilbride spoke highly of. He had a nice catch on Tuesday from Trayson Bourget in a media window, which I thought was a nice play from Zundel, who kind of flown under the radar a little bit in camp. I think last year he had a lot more impactful plays in those media windows, but Zundel is in that top 6 at tight end and someone that I think Kevin Gilbride trusts at the tight end position. Offensive line, there was a false start from Siwa Latufina at the left tackle spot. That was a unfortunate deal there with those false starts. You don't want to have any of that. But the following play, the defense then had a penalty where they had an offsides on Orion Maile Kafusi. Trayson Bourget, to his credit, saw that immediately and just went downfield, which I love. When you got that offsides, free play action, take a shot downfield. He attempted to connect with Terrence Sarion, but Mississippi State transfer Javen Williams was there in coverage to break it up. But I love that decision and that awareness from Trayson Bourget. Sees the flag, taking that deep shot down the field because you got nothing to lose, everything to gain there. I like that decision-making from Trayson Bourget in that spot. Going back to the tight ends, Kean Need, who we always associate as a blocker. That's how he primarily played last season. He had an excellent route, nice pitch and catch from Bourget to Need, excellent catch. I thought it was a nice play and showed his soft hands, and maybe he could be a factor in the receiving game. We talk so much about Roger Saliapaga and Walker Lyons. Maybe there's more in that toolkit from Kean Need this year in 2026 than what we've seen in years past. I thought it was a really nice grab from Need. In around period 18, Andrew Gentry, my goodness, he was creating some running lanes to the right side for LJ Martin and Sione Moa. He was doing some work. This offensive line, man, they have some moments where you go, that is as dominant of a run-blocking offensive line as I've seen. And I was talking with Brandon Gurney, BYU media member with the Daily Herald, and we were talking, he was raving about the run blocking of this offensive line, and I can't help but agree with him. I think this is a group that is outstanding in getting up to that second level and creating opportunities for LJ Martin and Sione Moa. I thought it was a good day for Sione Moa, too. It was the first moment where I watched Sione Moa and felt like, okay, he's back. He looked fully healthy, full speed, the shifty, the athleticism. He said that him and LJ this fall camp are going to be a little bit of Reggie Bush, Lendell White, which I love. I love a pull like that. Not saying that's going to be the case, even though LJ, I think, is one of the best running backs in college football, but Reggie Bush and Lendell White, I mean, that's like the zenith of running back tandems in college football. And Sione's like, I'm Reggie Bush. LJ's like an Lendell White, which he kind of is like. I mean, LJ kind of is a little bit of a Lendell White type. You think of Lendell White at the Tennessee Titans, big, banging, bruising back that's got better top end speed than you give him credit for. I could see it, but Sione Moa and Reggie Bush, no. But Sione Moa, though, looked explosive out of that backfield today. I will give him that. And I think he really did look back to being the Sione Moa we knew him as in 2024. I really kind of come away with that being a real positive for this team. Also saw Falatau Saltawala not in action in the team portions, but we did see him on the sideline at practice, suited up in pads. And Kalani Sitake said they've been kind of holding him back. He wants to go full go, but did confirm Falatau is going to play week 1. I think the question on that one will be, how much is he going to play week 1? I mean, how many snaps is he really going to get in a game where you're projected to win by almost 100, almost 50 points? How many drives do you really need to give to Fale that's kind of a question. Get him ready ultimately for week 2 in Arizona, but he's expected to play in week 1. We got a little bit of the Bear to Tiger oh my connection. Fantastic to see. Bear hooked up and completed a pass to his brother, Tiger Bachmeier, over the middle. Thought it was a really good play by the two brothers because we did not see that really at all last season. And we got the chance to get a little bit of a preview of that in camp on Tuesday. On the flip side, Bear, he did toss an interception. It was over the outstretched hands of Walker Lyons, the tight end. It was picked off by, one of the standout cornerbacks in college football, Evan Schmev Johnson. He picked it off. And that was an excellent play by Johnson to be right there. And then to make a play I think he got upfield a little bit to get some yardage for the defense as well. Saw in the B-roll highlights, we didn't see this in the media window. Kato Luave also had an interception on Bear Bachmeier. So that would be 2 picks for Bear on the day. In total, there were 3 media windows during fall camp where we saw Bear connected 2 turnovers. Is that problematic? I don't think so. But, one of the strengths of Bear as a true freshman was in his freshman season, how well he took care of the football. He kind of went a little sideways in the last 2 games, the Big 12 Championship and the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but hopefully they can kind of nip that in the bud and get back to no interceptions. And again, you're going up against Evan Johnson. You're bound to throw a pick or 2. Or Kato Luave, you're going to probably throw a pick. But just kind of something to store away that, always room to improve for Bear Bachmeier. Noah Moyaki, the tight ends again, he had a grab from Enoch Watson, so it was good to see him back out on the field because as you heard on the interview with Kevin Gilbride, he noted that Moyaki, a little banged up, a little nicked up in camp, but he's back in action. He had a nice catch from Enoch Watson. We saw a look of Kyle Safarachok at center. We saw Bruce Mitchell, of course, with the first-team offensive line. But I think maybe there was a little bit of a proof of concept, maybe, kind of see cross-training, that cliche that we see with offensive linemen sometime. Kyle Safarachok at center, there were a couple low snaps. One of the low snaps did lead to Bear taking off for a run where he juked Tommy Parasis. And look, the defender Parasis in that situation, what can you do? You can't tackle Bear Bachmeier. Maybe if it was Enoch Watson, you can tackle him. You can't tackle Bear, so it's like you got to stand dead in your tracks and just take the juke, but Bear put on a little move, he had a little motion on Tommy Parasis. It was a nice play. And then the final play of the observation, Matthias Dunn, again, hitting another field goal to close it out and close out fall camp. Now, again, the Cougs shift their attention to game prep for the Utah Tech Trailblazers and then Arizona. And before we know it, it's Christmas. And we'll go, where did the season go? It just goes lightning fast. One of the disappointing things, though, in fall camp, I will say, no Cougar Club practice. Just a little bit disappointed they didn't have that. I know they got the renovation in the northwest corner of the stadium. And look, having a bunch of people come through the stadium, that could be a little bit, concerning with construction and whatnot. But unfortunate that the fans didn't get any sort of window like they did last year. Last year's practice in the stadium was so light, and there was really nothing revealed at all. It was almost kind of like the unofficial announcement that Bear is your starting quarterback, Cougar Nation. But I was kind of bummed that they didn't do that for the Cougar Club and Cougar fans this year. But otherwise, it was a lightning fast fall camp. They just seem to go by faster as the years go by. Let's take a break, get to the depth chart projection next as the Cougars get ready for the 2026 season right here on Cougar Tracks.